high-tech oils. Available from Auto One, Sprint Auto Parts and all leading independent auto stores.
Coming up on today's show, we trek across the Tauranga in New Zealand's Bay of Plenty region for the third round of the D1NZ National Drifting Championship. Then we wind the clock back to last year's World Time Attack Challenge from Sydney Motorsport Park, with the world's fastest and highly modified sedans do battle against the clock. And later we continue our retro feel with the opening round of last year's Australian Super Truck Championship from Wakefield Park. This is Speedweek.
Welcome to the Demon Energy D1NZ National Drifting Championship. 6 rounds across New Zealand, but only one Drift King. It's all about Bay Park Stadium this weekend. It's the top 16 from mighty Mount Maunganui. Well, I'm joined in voiceover with Kenny McCormick, and it all went down at round 1, Kenny.
Yes, that's right, Brendan. Round 1 at Manfield was all about the Turbo vs V8 battle, getting underway for the 2014-15 Championship Series. Andrew Redwood versus Darren Kelly. Darren Kelly in a borrowed car, but he was unfazed, and he went on to take his first ever round victory in the Pro Championship.
We then moved to the first of the concrete jungles and the only night round here in New Zealand for drifting. Club Auto chucking down the FMX, but it was all action on track for the Milwaukee S15 of Drew Donovan. An unfortunate end to his championship fight, but then it went even more extreme, Kenny.
Yes, that's right. All the way from the South Island, Phil Sutherland rolling his A31 Zafiro in front of a packed house at Mount Smart Stadium. And despite all that, the action was still hot at the pointy end of the championship fight. Andrew Redwood making contact with Kurt Whitaker, and that gave him an easy pass into the final 4. But first, it was the semi-final up against Gaz Whiter, and Gaz Whiter too, just like Redwood, couldn't make that chase stick through Sector 1. He'd tag the wall and would be all over for Whiter. Kurt Whitaker through to the final against Fangadan.
And the final was over before it was even started. Kurt Whitaker and Fangadan nearly coming in contact on the second pass. The first one scored even, giving the Autosure R34 top bragging rights for round 2 Mount Smart Stadium, which leads us into the championship fight. Darren Kelly leads. He's out in front. Woolhouse, 2-time New Zealand champion, a bit further down, followed by Whitaker and Templeman. Now it's all about Bay Park, Kenny.
Yes, that's right. Round 3 brings us to the beautiful Bay of Plenty in Tauranga. Round 3 at ASB Bay Park Stadium. Absolute packed house and an amazing atmosphere. As always, it is really one of the marquee events on the D1NZ calendar.
Yes, Mount Maunganui turning on with over 7,500 people coming out in their droves to witness New Zealand's best for the last of the concrete rounds. Now let's go trackside and check out what some of those top drivers had to say about the venue.
Bay Park, this is the third time that we've been here. The track is very similar, if not exactly the same as what it always has been. It's quite a technical little section, it's quite short.
Yeah, this track's been the same for 3 years and it doesn't need changing, it's that good. You just got to be on the wall every corner.
Yeah, it's same as the last round, so we've all driven here, level playing fields.
It's all pretty full on and they're all outside clips, so you got to be on your game.
That's our only right-hand entry, so we're on the driver's door, which is so much better. You get a lot more peripheral vision where you know where your rear quarter of the car is. And a lot of the time we're this way and you're sort of just guessing.
I do enjoy a tight track, especially when it's a high-risk track like this one here, and plenty of crowd, which just brings pumps you up a lot more, so you just go harder, 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 which is mad.
Yeah, certainly comfortable on the line that the judges are asking for. It's more just a matter of fine-tuning that and making sure you're at the pointy end of the field when qualifying starts.
It can't be set up any different. It only flows one way and it's only got the way it's shaped and stuff like that.
It'd be nice if we had a bit of cloud cover so we're not all scorching, but yeah, it's good to be back at Bay Park and a nice concrete jungle again.
ASB Bay Park has been a new addition to the D1NZ calendar in recent years, but it's proved to be a favourite amongst the drivers and fans, producing spectacular door-to-door battles and plenty of carnage. Bay Park is the second and final custom course of the season, featuring a fast-flowing outside clipping zone layout, which features only 2 sectors in the new scoring format.
Leaving the start line to begin Sector 1 will see drivers reach up to 110 kilometres an hour sideways into the first outside clipping zone. Judges want to see a big committed entry at Bay Park, with the rear of the car within 1 foot of all the outside clipping zones. The line judge will want to see drivers take a wide line and create a smooth arc through to the next outside clipping zone. Cutting shallow to create an appearance of car speed will result in points deductions, as will creating a diagonal clipping point line throughout the course. Smooth, fast and consistent driving will gain maximum points. The style judge will award points for minimal use of the handbrake and minimal use of left foot braking throughout both sectors. Entering Sector 2, drivers need to carry momentum and car speed through to another outside clipping zone before slingshooting the vehicle in an aggressive and concise switch to set themselves up for another wide line, again creating a smooth arc to the outside clipping zone. Fast, smooth and consistent driving will reward maximum points from all 3 judges in both sectors. Judges want to see full throttle use and an exhibition of speed and control while following the competition criteria.
That's how it plays out. We'll see Shane Van Gisbergen up in the first battle against Cole Armstrong. He's driving Cole Armstrong's old R34. Kurt Whitaker versus Adam Hedges. Woolhouse, former Drift King, versus Michael Prosnick, the Australian, back over for competition. Darren Kelly versus Jody Woolhouse. And on the flip side of the table there, Kenny.
Yeah, the young guns Joe Kukatai and Nico Reed coming together. Gaz Whiter and Matt Lauder, Redwood and Steedman, and Danum Templeman and Ben Boucher.
So the first battle up is Shane Van Gisbergen jumping into Cole Armstrong's old R34 Hyperdrive, coming on board with him to let him to come to Bay Park Stadium and stick it to the walls with the V Energy Dodge-powered NASCAR V8, a unique sounding car out on the track at the moment, Kenny.
Yeah, that's right, but don't discount the turbocharged R34 of Shane Van Gisbergen. An absolutely awesome RB30 package in that engine bay, but a little bit of a squirm there, and Cole Armstrong just tapping the door as they come out of the section.
Yeah, so we will swap over now. Now, if you guys want to catch all the top 32 highlights, you can check them out D1NZ.com, and all the judging criteria as well of what the judges were looking for this particular round on the track layout. But Cole Armstrong, he's one not to hold back as well. Both of these drivers having an exceptional chase now.
Yeah, Cole Armstrong just hanging right off the back of that rear quarter, which is what the judges want to see. A little bit safe on that switch, but just closes the gap right up as they come out to the exit of the section, and that's going to put Cole Armstrong through to the top 8.
Yeah, an unfortunate battle there for Shane Van Gisbergen coming up against the local hometown hero. Pushes wide there and just dropped a wheel all over the line, so the judges could have crucified him for that. Cole Armstrong through to the top 8.
Next battle up, Kurt Whitaker and Adam Hedges. Another V8 versus turbo battle out on track. Hedges in the Seas Garage S14 and Kurt Whitaker in the Autoshore R34, packing the Rattler-produced 410 Ford V8, and Hedges just tags the wall there, Brendan.
Yeah, Hedges just pushing hard through that first part of the section. He knows he's got to deliver a really good lead here. He's up against a former Drift King, Kurt Whitaker, in the Autoshore R34, and that would be a slight advantage there to Kurt Whitaker as he taps him coming out of the section. Quick replay here of where it all went wrong for Adam Hedges, unfortunately. Judges crucified him for that, and we're only going to see the first pass of some of these top 16 battles short show this week. But next up, Fangert and Woolhouse versus the Australian Michael Prosnick.
Yeah, the Aussie invader, fresh from a podium finish at the ADGP, coming to Bay Park to stick it to the door of Fangert and Woolhouse in the Century Batteries VE Commodore, a pair of V8s, although Prosnick in the only supercharged V8 in the field, but he is a little offline through this last part of the section, and that's going to hold Fangert a very good advantage.
Yeah, Michael unfortunately had a bad line coming into the section on his first pass, so he's really going to have to deliver the goods on his lead run here, and he's on a really good line. The judges are going to award him well. He taps the wall there, but he keeps his drift up. Now Fangert pushes deep. He taps the wall. Prosnick's round. Who wins in this battle, Kenny?
Oh, well, look, this is where it all went wrong. Prosnick tapped the wall and just sent Fangert on a really bad line. He tags the wall, but then Prosnick's been battling this engine electrical issue all weekend, and that forced him to spin around, and unfortunately that gives us a 0-0, and that goes back to the first pass. Fangert goes through with the win.
We will see more of Michael Prosnick though. Round 4, Hampton Downs of the Australian. Now up, we've got Jody Verhulst in the Milwaukee Supra, Darren Kelly, who's currently the leading champion at Bay Park, both delivering a really good run. Jody on form here though.
Yeah, but she's just not following that line as deep as we'd like to see through the Gulf Force Pro wall ride, and Darren Kelly just cleans her up through the last part of the sector, and that's going to hand him the win into the top 8.
Right, so Cole Armstrong battles Kurt Whitaker in the top 8. Woolhouse versus Kelly. We've got the next battle up. Joe Kukatai, the Young Guns versus Nico Reed. Both drivers love sticking it to the walls.
Yeah, that's right. Smash the gas on the rear wing of Joe Kukatai and the Rockstar R32, just right on that line. The judges want to see Nico Reed just unfortunately hanging back a little bit there. That gap is not going to be doing him any favours as they come through the switch, a little bit slack through the switch too. So Kukatai leading out with a good advantage here. And I think Nico Reed's tagged the wall, Brendan.
Yeah, just too much speed coming into that last Gulf Force hairpin, and that made him tag the wall. So a bit of a disadvantage now to Nico Reed. He'll have to make it up as he's on the lead past Joe Kukatai now, chucks it in right behind him, but Nico Reed does have a gap. The judges are going to score him an advantage there. Joe Kukatai a bit offline. You can see his front wheels moving around. That's going to also be a bit of a disadvantage, but he closes it back up. The judges will award him for that because he didn't come offline. But yes, a hard call for the judges on this one, Kenny.
Yeah, that's right, but I think Kukatai's done enough. He's held plenty of advantage there, and he just didn't hold back on the chase. That'll give him the win through to the next battle tree.
Now this is an amazing looking car here. That is Matt Lauder in the Bling Company 180SX. He loves it slammed on the ground. He's up against four-time New Zealand champion, the defending champion Gaz Wider in the Tectaloy S14 out on front, but he's not holding back. Big handbrake there to stack on the angle. Clutch kits back on in. He's got good proximity here to the Tectaloy S14. Matt Lauder on fire.
Yeah, Matt Lauder in the 2JZ powered 180SX just sticking it to the Tectaloy S14. And that was a fantastic run there from Matt Lauder in the Blink Company back car. Always fantastic to see the Stormtrooper livery out there, Brendan.
Yeah, definitely, Kenny. So Gaz Wider knows he's not got the advantage at this point, and he doesn't hold back. Textbook chase into the first initiation there. Slight correction from Matt Lauder. Matt Lauder pushes wide though. Doesn't disturb his drift at all, so the judges won't mark him down for rubbing the wall then. But Gaz Wider will have an advantage from that slight correction on the first corner from Matt Lauder. What a chase there from Gaz Wider. And that is going to be enough. Gaz Wider goes through to the top 8.
Next battle up, Andrew Redwood and Dave Steedman. Redwood in the chase in the Achilles Club Auto Insurance FC RX7 and the Mimico S14 leading out in the RB30, and both drivers have spun here, Brendan.
Yeah, we'll have a look at a replay here. Did Andrew Redwood spin for evasive manoeuvres? We come on in. Huge initiation there from both drivers. Andrew Redwood comes in, just sees Dave going round. Only thing to do was for him to spin out as well. That puts him into the top 8. Unfortunate end for Dave Steedman.
Next up, Dainham Templeman, Ben Boucher, battle of RX7s. Two totally different engine packages though. The Rotor giving chase with Boucher behind the wheel and Templeman pedaling the big power 2JZ.
Yeah, well, both drivers are offline here that the judges wanted to see on the first initiation, but Dainham Templeman in the NAC RX7 has a huge gap over the local man, Ben Boucher, and that's going to be enough to score him a great advantage. Ben Boucher's going to have to deliver some goods as they swap over now. The judges will score a high 7-3 advantage to Dainham Templeman. Ben Boucher on the lead. We swap over. What can that local boy deliver?
Yeah, it'd be great to see Ben Boucher pull something out of the bag in front of his local home crowd, and he does. He's right on the wall, Brendan, and Dainham Templeman not holding back either, trying to follow that line that Boucher's setting in the Green Brothers RX7.
Yeah, both drivers putting on a great show of drifting here. Dainham Templeman closing that gap and having proximity. Look at that, both riding the outside wall. RX7 love for all those rotary fans out there from Ben Boucher, but Dainham Templeman scores the advantage. He goes through to top 8. Top 16's done. There's your top 8. Armstrong, Whittaker, Woolhouse, Kelly, Kukatai, Wider, Redwood and Templeman. But the first battle up, Cole Armstrong, the local man, versus one of his longtime friends, Kurt Whittaker in the Autoshore R34, but a big gap there already off the start line, Kenny.
Yeah, the V Energy 250 GT already leading out on a strong line, and Kurt Whittaker just hanging back there through that first sector and really just trying to stay on that line despite that gap being created. He can still claim points by staying on that judge's line. So Cole Armstrong just leading out on that Gulf Force Pro wall ride. Kurt Whittaker doing all he can to just try and claim those points back.
So he gapped me off the line, so I was unable to pull the gap back in, but it's all right. We're on the lead now, so we'll make him work hard.
All right, the words from the man himself, Kurt Whittaker in the Autoshore R34. What can he pull out of the bag now? He's at a disadvantage. He needs to pull a gap on the V Energy 250 GT Skyline, but Cole Armstrong hanging back right there on that rear quarter, Brendan.
Yeah, Cole Armstrong's been plagued the last 2 years that Bay Park's happened. He wants this bad for the hometown hero status, and he's got it. He's got a huge advantage here. Kurt Whittaker just not been able to force anything. Cole Armstrong through to top 4.
This is where it all came together for Cole Armstrong, just set himself up nice and close for the final wall ride, and that puts him through to the top 4.
Yeah, unfortunate end there for Kurt Whitaker, but it's the next battle up. Another R34 versus the Century Batteries Commodore. It's Fangerdang Woolhouse, one of New Zealand's favourite drifters, versus Darren Kelly. Now Fang is a bit offline there, which is going to give a bit of an advantage to Darren Kelly as he closes the door in that RB-powered Nissan R34 for the V8 lovers right now. You are being owned by Darren Kelly. Fangerdang Woolhouse, though, will not hold back. Closes the gap a weeny bit, but right now, big advantage there to Darren Kelly.
Yeah, the V8 versus Turbo battle really polarising fans this season, and they're loving it at ASB Bay Park today for round 3 in Tauranga.
Yep, over 7,500 people in through the gates over the 2 days as the next battle up is on. Darren Kelly on the lead, Fangerdang Woolhouse on the chase, chasing like a pure drift king, 2-time New Zealand champion in their Century Batteries Commodore. Door to door, he did have a disadvantage coming into this run as they both push wide here. Slight correction there from Daniel Woolhouse. That will be an advantage to Darren Kelly. Darren goes through to top 4.
All right, the top 4 coming together with Armstrong and Kelly pairing up, but now it's time for Joe Kukatai and Gaz Wider.
Yeah, so it's the young and the old. Gaz Wider, 4-time champion, as we said earlier on. Joe Kukatai has really come on strong at Bay Park. He's been driving exceptionally well, qualifying in a real high position. Gaz Wider, though, he's like, I'm here, mate, gonna teach you a thing or two. So both are offline. Gaz Wider will just follow the line of Joe Kukatai. Now they get out wide, which is going to set them up for a nice inner transition through this midsection, Kenny.
Yeah, Kukatai switches on through, just holds that angle through the Gulf Force Pro War, but look at Gaz Wider hanging back off that rear quarter and just lines him up through that last sector.
The crowd there at Bay Park really loving that, so a slight advantage to Gaz Wider in the Tector S14 as he now swaps over young gun Joe Kukatai though. Look at that, door to door with the Tector S14. Kukatai pushes real wide there, scrubs a bit of speed off, so he has to shallow his line up to get back on the door of Gaz Wider. Now he's on the door, the Bay Park crowd going wild for this chase.
Yeah, a bit ambitious from Joe Kukatai to get up to that door, but he's just sticking it to Gaz Wider. But this is where it goes wrong for him. He's just a little bit offline and a little bit too shallow for what we want to see through Sector 2, and that's just not going to give him any favours as we take a look at the replay.
Yeah, that's where it went wrong for Joe Kukatai. Just went offline in the first part as well, so great chase, but just a bit offline. Judges award it for Gaz Wider through to top 4. Next top 8 battle up is Andrew Redwood and Achilles Radial Club Auto RX-7 on the lead. Danum Templeman on the NAC later model RX-7 on the chase. Danum a bit offline there. 300 kilowatts out on the front versus 1,000 horsepower on the rear, but the front has that V8 torque to pull away. It's anyone's game, Kenny.
Yeah, Danum Templeman just had a really more scrappier line than what Redwood was putting out in front, so I'd say he's going to hold the advantage here right now as the American flags wave out the rear of the Club Auto FC RX-7. Taking a look at the onboard replay as we take a look at the rear view of Danum Templeman trying to chase through that smoke.
Yeah, had not a bad chase against Andrew. I'm not sure how we ended up with the judges, but we'll go out and give it a good shot now.
Yeah, so a slight advantage there to Andrew Redwood as Danum Templeman has a few words on the grid. They swap over now. What's Danum going to be able to pull out of the bag?
Early entry from both these drivers, but Templeman just straightens up a little there, and Redwood's just capitalising. He's reeled him right in, and Templeman tags the wall. Templeman tags the wall, and Redwood takes a bit of a evasive manoeuvre, but that's just going to hold him a huge advantage right now. You'd have to say 9-1 to Andrew Redwood.
Yeah, unfortunate for Danum Templeman. Judges don't mind you tagging the wall, but when you tag the wall and it disturbs your drifter like that, they mark you down heavily. So that will be Danum Templeman on the trailer in the NAC RX-7. Andrew Redwood goes through. There's your top 4. Armstrong versus Kelly. Wider versus Redwood.
Now out on track right now, it's the top 4. Cole Armstrong lining up against Darren Kelly.
Yeah, Kenny, these two drivers are household names for New Zealand drifting now. They've been around a while. They both trust each other's driving, which means they can commit, which is a big thing in New Zealand drifting. If you know that driver in front of you is going to push hard, you push even harder. So Darren Kelly chasing down the V Energy Dodge-powered NASCAR V8 at the moment. V8 versus turbo again, but it's going to be a slight advantage there to Cole. Darren just not able to close that gap.
Well, we just put on a pretty committed chase, so hopefully that was good enough to get an advantage or something, but he's on fire this weekend, so we're going to have to put on a pretty good lead run and try to get a little gap on him.
All right, you heard it from the man himself in the DKM Fabrication R34. Darren Kelly, of course, leading the championship standings right now, and he needs another podium.
Yeah, he's in that title race, and Cole Armstrong's trying to claw back all those important championship points, and Cole Armstrong closes the door on Darren Kelly. He's going to make him work for it. This is one of the chases of the weekend for Bay Park. They push wide. Cole Armstrong, crowd on their feet. What a chase.
Take a look at the onboard replay as Cole Armstrong fires on through. He just lines up Darren Kelly, stacks on the angle, and this is where it all comes together, side by side, door to door. That's what we want to see.
So Cole Armstrong will go through for the final battle for first and second, Darren Kelly for third and fourth, but first we find who goes through to battle Cole Armstrong. Well, we've got Andrew Redwood on the lead as they come through the initiation. This is important points. Andrew Redwood also hunting a title. He's never had it. He wants it. Gaz White has had it 4 times. He's not going to let him have it easy. Andrew Redwood, though, he is being chased down by Gaz White.
Yeah, the man all the way from California. He moved to New Zealand many years ago, but he is absolutely enjoying the D1NZ competition, and he is lining up to be the first international to win the New Zealand title.
So we'll go to a quick replay here, and Andrew Redwood scoring a slight advantage over Gaz White in the first run.
We had too much grip in the run then. We let the tyres down too much and had too much grip, so we messed it up a little, so I'm going to have to do a pretty good lead.
All right, so Gaz White in the cockpit. He knows he's going to have to deliver the goods. Slight advantage here to Andrew Redwood. He's on the chase in the Club Auto RX-7. Gaz White on the line the judges want to see, but instantly Andrew Redwood closes that door. He's hunting a podium as well. Both these drivers, exceptional drivers, but Gaz White, he's got a disadvantage. Andrew Redwood, all he had to do is hang back a bit. He does on the last corner. Slight correction there from Redwood now, but is it going to be enough? We find out. We go to the judges. And Gaz White, it's not enough. Andrew Redwood will go through to battle for first and second. First up, though, we have the battle for third and fourth. So Gaz White is straight back out on track. He scrubs in some brand new Achilles on the rear. Who will be the podium getter, the third place final spot?
Yeah, the final position's being locked in as the battle for third and fourth gets underway. Darren Kelly leading out the DKM R34 V8 versus Turbo, and Gaz White just washing out a little deep there. But he just gets the car back on point and follows that line that Darren Kelly is setting, and this is going to be quite an even battle, Brendan.
Yeah, I would say a slight advantage of anything to Gaz White. Just that initiation as they came up off the start line was huge.
Oh, I did the same thing again. I've been pretty messy. Not enough track time this weekend, trying to keep the tyre wear down, so that's all good. Darren's driving pretty good.
So some humble words there from Gaz White. Says he's done the same thing again. Too low pressure in the Tector S14 as they both chuck it in. Big initiation there from Gaz White. The Tector S14 right on the wall. The judge is going to be scoring both these drivers great points. Darren Kelly door to door, but he actually comes and tucks in on Gaz White. That's going to mark him down, and it hurts him. I would say there's going to be a big advantage now to Gaz White, the Tector S14. Unfortunate for Darren Kelly, the DKM R34.
Yeah, go on board with the replay. This is where it all went wrong. He just fired up he was just too eager to get up to that A pillar, and that's wrong. That's not what we wanted to see. It put him offline through the switch, and that's a bit unfortunate for Darren Kelly. So Gaz White goes through and takes third place on the podium.
All right, so it's the final battle that everyone's been waiting for here. Mount Maunganui. Once a year we come down for the summer smokeout, and this is it. V Energy's R34, the local hometown hero, versus the presenting club sponsor, Club Auto Insurance. But Andrew Redwood chucks it away. He's made himself the bridesmaid again at Bay Park Stadium. Cole Armstrong, the crowd are on their feet. He knows he has done the business to get that top podium spot. This is where it all went wrong, unfortunately, for Andrew Redwood. We go to a replay.
On board with Andrew Redwood, and unfortunately just coming through the Sector 2 wall, and a broken half shaft is what came through over the team radio, and unfortunately for Redwood that meant he just couldn't compete the final pass. They tried to fix it in the pits, but he exceeded his 5-minute allocation, and that just handed the win to Cole Armstrong. A hometown hero has done it from pole position. Disappointment on the face of Andrew Redwood. The fans love it. It's fantastic to see a hometown hero do it here in Tauranga. Let's check out the podium.
All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, that's the final for the Demon Energy D1NZ National Drifting Championship, Round 3, Bay Park, Mount Maunganui, and as you can see, champagne showers are happening. It's been an amazing event. The V Energy R34 of Cole Armstrong ends up right on top. P1 and number 1. What a way, what a hometown hero, and what a story. Make sure you tune in for the next round, Hampton Downs. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Coming up after the break, we head to Sydney Motorsport Park for all the action from last year's World Time Attack Challenge.